Hey, everybody, welcome into GoBlueRaiders.tv. Time for the drill, and we're once again in the Ascend Federal Credit Union studios. Chris Massaro, Director of Athletics, joins us. And Chris, it's always good every once in a while kind of get together. We've had some kind of Ask the AD segments and things like that. But as we go through the summer, we have the athletic directors have their conferences. Obviously, there's been news lately with the BCS, the President's Council, and there's been a new Division I national championship format formulated. So, kind of give me your thoughts on where it is and how things have shaken out. Did it surprise you at all how it came out?
No, it really didn't. I thought from the beginning it would probably be some sort of either a +1 or a +2 type event. So I wasn't surprised. I think I was. There was less saber rattling than maybe I thought there might be. I mean, there was some early on, but I think that the commissioners, from all reports, really had a spirit of working together and doing what's best for college football. And there's still a lot of details out there, like the revenue distribution and the selection process and all of those. So, is with anything that the devil will be in the details. But I think as a all-in-all situation with fans, that's a very popular formula right now.
Would it be fair to say that probably the biggest issue in that whole scenario was whether it was going to be all conference champions or top four?
Yeah, and well, as I understand it, I think that there are a lot of different issues, like what do you do about the current bowl system and the bowl partners? Particularly the Rose Bowl. That's very important to the Pac-10 and Big Ten. So that was a question that needed to be addressed right away. And then or do you do home sites? I think that was discussed a little bit. Seeding 1 and 2 get the home games, and 3 and 4 travel. Then kind of the logistics that would require. So that was, to me, probably the biggest debate was that the conference champions. I think that was just people maybe doing some trial balloons.
It was almost like SEC against the world on that.
There were some that, and if you're the Big East, then you'd probably prefer that because that gives you a better chance. But there's, as we all know, that there's always a very good runner-up in particular leagues, particularly the SEC. So I'm not sure it'd be fair. People would really accept that these are the top 4 teams when there's an obvious one-loss team out there that might be better than a conference champion. So I think that they did a good job of getting the best 4. Sure, there'll be. I think people need to understand that this just won't do away with controversy. People always discuss it now, whether you should be number 5 or number 4 or number 6.
Well, it was interesting. I thought one of the first articles I read after it came down was, this sets the table for an 8-team playoff.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons they did it for 12 years, to try to keep those discussions to a minimum. So I think that the intent is to do this for a long time and then to evaluate it. But we'll see. I mean, until you really do something, it's always a mystery.
In your estimation, because they haven't put it out for bid for television yet. That's all going to be coming up, and you mentioned the revenue sharing, things like that. There has been really nothing that has come close to the NCAA men's basketball championship from a revenue standpoint. Does this have an opportunity to at least get in the neighborhood?
Yeah, I think so. And again, it depends. I mean, there are a lot of cities that are indicating public interest to have to bid for the championship game. So I think that'll be a monetary deal. And then obviously the TV rights that people are talking about, some of the numbers they mention are staggering. I hope we do a good job of the revenue distribution that, and it's fair, and that the people that earn it should get the lion's share, but also that the people that are also part of college football receive some too, and that so everybody, there's enough there for everybody to really benefit. And if everybody benefits, then college football is just going to be better.
Well, and we say all of that to set up this question. if all of this comes along and all the pegs are put in the correct holes, how can it affect the Sun Belt and Middle Tennessee in a positive way?
Well, and I think the revenue is important, and then access to the other bowl games. That I still think it's going to be enormously difficult. And if you look at some of the historical data, that for any team coming from a traditional non-AQ conference to make the championship round of four, the football Final Four, whatever we're going to call this, that I think TCU would have made it a year or two on a selection committee. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? So Boise goes undefeated. Who knows? But my big thing is that there's got to be meaningful postseason for a team that has a great run like that. So if we still have access to the other BCS bowls, then I think that'll be good. That'll be really good. So why that's really important to me, because maybe making the Final Four, that gets to be a little bit subjective. Maybe you have to be good for a year or two to be able to do it, and we need to be able to prove ourselves on a big stage.
Do you think that being able to prove yourself is, as you mentioned, is very important? Because I think there's a growing concern that with this there will be a basically Big Six and then the rest.
Well, and I think to a degree there's always been that. So I don't buy into that too much, because there's always been kind of a separation there. But I do think that under the old system, that provided the little guy, the Cinderellas, the best access we've ever had to Sugar Bowls and Fiesta Bowls and Orange Bowls and those kind of bowl games, because in the old system, it just didn't allow it to happen, because those were all preset deals or would be politicked here, that they legislated access in the old BCS. And so we enjoyed a lot of growth. Mm-hmm. And you've seen programs really become national programs, and Boise's a classic example, primarily because of BCS access. And I think college football is better for that. And I hope we don't lose that piece, and that'll be a big thing. And I think it's going to be built into the other BCS bowls. So like last year, there's an undefeated Houston up until their championship game, that they've got a place to go, a meaningful game to play at the end of the year against a traditionally strong opponent. And that's what we really want, is to be able to measure ourselves when we have that kind of breakout year.
And as Chris says, the devil will be in the details of all of that. And
Absolutely.
Just kind of keep your eyes open. We'll talk about it more as the fall goes along. But getting down to grassroots, Blue Raider football is 65 days away from kickoff of the McNeese State game. And right now is an important time, because a lot of people say, well, what are you guys doing now that your summer's here? And there's a whole lot, as I mentioned the other day on the radio, everything that you see, hear, touch, or smell when you come to that game,
that's a good way to put it,
is being prepared right now.
It is, and it's a busy time. So 4th of July holiday is always a little bittersweet, because
means
means it really starts accelerating soon after the 4th, and we are right on top of our fall semester, and soccer starts a couple of weeks earlier than football. So our sports are ready to start, but I'm ready for them. It'll be fun. Football has had a really great off season. The reports out of the weight room have been outstanding. That through the spring, and now they're in their voluntary workouts. I think that Jason Spray and the job he's done, and his staff over there has made us tougher, bigger, stronger, all those kind of things that you want out of the weight room. And I think the changes on Coach Stockstill's staff have been great. That staff seems to really assimilate and be together. And I'm really looking forward to this football season. I think we're going to surprise a lot of people.
I think so too. And in the schedule, there's an opportunity to get off to a great start as the season goes along. But everybody feels that.
Yeah.
Everybody feels that going into late August and September. And folks, the one message we can give you right now is get your season tickets. There will be new premium seating opportunities available that folks can take advantage of.
Boy, and the club level is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And so I can't wait for our fans to see it. We redid the football locker room, and it's beautiful. So football's here, and now's your chance to get aboard. Call a ticket office and buy some season tickets because it's going to be a fun season.
One other thing that is always on your plate in the summertime is there are always staff changes, people moving up, people retiring, other things like that. You probably go through more resumes and interviews in about a 30-day period in the summer as you do the other 11 months put together.
It is, and you hire somebody and you think, okay, that's the last position, and then you walk outside your office and there's 2 more that are open. So it's a fun time, and that's how we regenerate ourselves too, because it gives us a chance to bring in new talent, new ideas. So the hiring process is always fun, and I think that's one of the most important roles that I'll play.
We've had some young employees, whether it be weight room, whatever it may be, have gone on to bigger and better things as they continue to advance through their career. But one guy you mentioned the other day at lunch, Roy Mubrin, who has been one of the old war horses down in the BRAA office, put in his retirement papers. And that congratulations to Roy.
And I appreciate everything Roy did. And we were talking about, well, what do we do for people that retire? And we haven't had one in a while, just as an administrator. So it's kind of an unrelenting profession when that happens. And so we're really pleased that Roy's able to go out on his own terms, on his own deal. It's not goodbye to Roy. He's still going to help us on a part-time basis with some golf tournaments and some BRAA activities. But he's been terrific. He's a good person. He's a great fundraiser. We're going to miss him on a full-time basis, but happy he's going to help us on a part-time basis.
Absolutely, and he is one of the few guys in the country that was in on the planning and building of 2 beautiful college baseball stadiums.
Yeah, and he was so valuable to me when that happened, when we built ours, and his fundraising ideas on the stadium. So I'll always be indebted to Roy. He's going to join Jim Simpson, and Jim Freeman now is our little cadre of experience. And I'm telling you, those guys, Chip, and you know it, I like to tease them, but they're as good as gold, and they provide history to the department, provide perspective from all of us that maybe are mid-range in our careers or younger than that they're able to kind of fill in some gaps. So I'm just thrilled that we have people like that still around our program.
All right. Well, we want to wish everybody a happy 4th of July.
Happy 4th.
And be safe with all the weather and hot weather. Be careful with your fireworks, and save those fireworks for September 30th or August 30th. How about that? September 30th too. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fun. We're going to have a good year.
All right. Appreciate it, folks, and thanks for joining us here on The Drill on GoBlueRaiders.tv.